I was in a meeting and we're discussing a paper, and in my sort of, I suppose, paranoia, I sort of looked at this and said, look, I haven't ever seen this before, I'll need a copy of this, because I didn't have one. And they just all sort of, you know, kept talking about it. Anyway, I got a copy and went to photocopy it, and all over it were my notes. When I was in the Health Commission in Victoria, I did a lot of, I was a nursing advisor. I was a careers advisor for nursing for the whole of Victoria. Then I became an advisor to the public hospitals in Victoria, in the nursing section, like with their establishments and setting funding and things for them at a time like that. And then I just moved on into a position of a senior advisor in aged care, which has always been an area that I've been interested in.
And did a lot of public speaking in her, particularly in her job as careers advisor for the whole of Victoria. She visited every, and I mean every, government and private secondary school in the whole of Victoria, hundreds and hundreds of them, and spoke about nursing as a career.
I used to be, able to walk into a room and engage with anybody.
And you would
Now I walk into a room and I don't want to engage with anybody because it's really too hard. It wasn't particularly a happy time. It was a time where I thought I wasn't sure what was going on. I didn't know whether I was really stressed or whether I was losing the plot. I'd been seeing a really good doctor, and so I went to her, and she knew straight off that this wasn't just a normal occurrence, that something more was going on.
Anne noticed all these things and I hadn't noticed anything at all. So, you know, I suppose I was a little bit disbelieving at first, but Anne mentioned this doctor who got onto things very quickly, and we'd have to say that it's been a huge benefit that Anne was diagnosed very quickly then. Testing began to indicate that there was a mild cognitive impairment, which of course is the beginning of the journey of dementia. Hang on to me.
I've got very high standards, and I knew that I wasn't doing as well as I could have before, and I didn't like not being able to perform at that level. There's a lot of loss, particularly for a younger person. There are a lot of losses. You know, your independence sort of, you start to become more dependent on Tim, which causes a few humorous times, doesn't it?
Oh no,
but it does. It's hard. It's not. It's hard to give up some things, and it's hard to realise that you can't do all the things that you used to do. When you're just out and about, if you forget where you're going or you forget bits and pieces to sort of, you expect older people to muddle along. I mean, my balance and things are pretty bad, and they're not getting any better, and I stumble from time to time, and I'm very self-conscious of that. And you think if it was an older person, nobody would think twice. Now, I'm probably far more conscious of it than perhaps I. But you feel it's a bit belittling in some ways. I've had to bite my tongue a bit and be a bit more humble and a bit more accepting that perhaps I'm not always as right as I used to think I was.
Anne is very strong personality, and she's had to become more dependent, and that's a humbling experience for Anne. She likes to be fiercely independent, I think.
Oh, well, I've always enjoyed, embroidery, cooking, craft, art, all those, music, but most of all it's the creative things that I've enjoyed doing. You know, preparing food and stylish and just that sort of thing, really, wasn't it?
Mm. We decided that we wouldn't cover the kitchen yet with
posters of this is the TV.
Posters, don't forget to turn off the gas.
Oh, yes, well I did have a little incident the other day where I forgot about.
Tiny bit of a fire, wasn't it?
Yes.
Two tea towels caught on fire.
Yes.
You weren't going to tell me.
No, except for the singed tea towels in the laundry.
The green one is,
I don't know which one I made you. Which one do I make? And I put a cake in the oven and found the flour on the bench and, you know, pulled the cake out and thrown the flour in and chucked it back in the fridge, in the oven rather.
Yeah.
And, you know, the family just smile and eat it. You know, they know they'll get a clip over the ears if they don't love it.
The kids tend to make a bit of fun about this,
we
which we don't
We've
mind.
All got
Anne
a
and
bit
I
of
have
a weird sense of humour.
A bit of a weird, and we've a developed
useful.
sense of humour, which other people might find a bit confronting at times, but we have a good laugh about all sorts of situations, which does really help.
Yesterday I was getting the mop out to, you know, clean the house, and I was out just shaking it, and it was about this far off the ground. And one of the boys said, "No, Mum, it won't get clean unless you actually put it on the ground." So, you know, we just get along with life. But I find things like, I'm finding it hard to sort of tie bows and, you know, like tie my apron and things like that that used to be easy. My spatial things, spatial what's?
Concepts.
Yeah, are more whatever. And I can't do the embroidery and things I used to do. I used to do really detailed stuff, and now I've had to sort of give up and just do things that doesn't require counting and reading. I have to read facts. I read a lot of facts rather than crime and fiction, which I used to like. TV, I can't follow the plots on the television series anymore. Knitting, I used to knit really intricate patterns, and now I'll find that I've cast on 55 stitches and it says 40 or something, and I, you know, just constantly smile and undo it again and cast on again. It doesn't matter. Whereas before it did matter. It mattered a lot.
You've been a perfectionist, and that's been a hard lesson in a way to climb down from. But I mean, I know I am the same. I know I am the same, and so it would be the same for me.
Yeah. As far as my memory, it's not. I'm on medication now, so it's not really getting any worse. But I'm finding there are other things that are becoming more of a factor, like my spatial.
I think you're also, perhaps if you don't mind me saying so, Anne, is
what if I do?
Is that she's withdrawing a little bit socially. We have wonderful friends. Anne has very good friends, and we're all close to our family and of course our sons. But we also have a lovely home group through our church, and they're very understanding. I mean, it's a bit of a journey for them, as some of these people as well. But still, there's this idea that you don't want to appear to be stupid in what you say. And so Anne feels a little bit that way at times.
For a start, people think, or not people think, but it's said that I've got a lot of insight into what's going on, and maybe that's because of my dealings with younger onset dementia people before or not. And also, to me, it doesn't have that huge stigma that a lot of people might have. Because of my nursing background, I still have, you know, the long-term stuff still there, and you can see the implications, and you can draw on the knowledge, but it's harder to get it out, which is really weird because I've still got it, but it's really difficult to sort of explain. And then you'll think after it, would have been better if I'd said nothing. I have days where things, and this isn't one of them, where things are totally fuzzy. And I'll just say to Tim and the kids, it's just one of those days. It's really weird because it's a nothingness. It doesn't seem to, there's nothing, you can't even see that sort of, you don't have that insight, I don't think. So I don't panic about it, I just sort of say, look, it's not a good day, don't ask.
There you go. Compliment with something. Little old dictionary up in the brain is sort of...
You lost its O-R-A-T-O-R.
That's it. Look, the future is unknown, and so I do wonder how this will all pan out. What will the next steps be? Will we start to need assistance at home here? When will I give up work to care for Anne? How long will that continue for? Fortunately, we have two absolutely superb specialists who we go to regularly. They allay a lot of our fears by saying, look, we will assist you with whatever the next stages are. It'll become apparent, you'll get advice from us. That is great. It's absolutely great to have wonderful doctors whom you can rely upon to give you the advice about how to take the next steps, or when the next steps need to be taken even. So they do allay a lot of my fears. But yes, of course I worry about Anne, but I don't say that I'm greatly anxious. I'm just hope that we have some more good years. 30 years, would you believe, in 15 days. We've been married, yes.
I think we're really good friends.
We're very good friends.
We have so much in common. We have our faith, we have our friends, yes. We have our family.
We have lots of fun. All the F words.
Well, not all of them.
No, we have lots of fun together, but we also, I think, I don't know, I mean, physically I still love Anne, I really do, and I think, I like the way you look and...
I'm not going to reciprocate.
No, I know you don't, but I'm getting old and flabby.
I will.
But...
I do.
We have a shared life, and the shared life and the shared memories means a great deal. And I guess that also is a big binding thing for us.
Yeah, we've
a shared life.
We've had challenges.
The normal challenges of married life. I won't pretend they haven't been. It's
much greater, isn't it, than we first met?
Oh,
much
a deeper
love.
Yes. And a trust in each other. And this dementia thing is really a journey that we both are on. It's not just Anne, it is me as well too. I feel that. And
I feel sensitive about that too.
Yeah, but you don't need to feel sensitive about it, because that is a calling for me to be there with you in on that particular journey. We're very trusting in God and His promises.